www.offthecorner.net. You're watching the FACT Project, and FACT is an acronym that stands for Fundamental African Centered Thought. The goal here in the FACT Project is to convey some facts and some information to members of our community. We're slated to have some guests today. They have yet to arrive. So there are a few things that I would like to touch on before we actually begin or before the guests join us, assuming they're going to be able to join us. First, today is May the 20th. So we're one day past the 99th birth anniversary of the great Omowale Malcolm X. And I refer to him as Omowale only because that was the name that was given to him when he went to Nigeria on one of his trips abroad. He was given the name Omowale, which means the child has returned. A lot has been made about his trip to Mecca and his pilgrimage to make Hajj, but not enough is made about his other international travels as it relates to his travel into Kenya, into Nigeria, Tanzania, and some other places. So we definitely want to salute the great Omowale Malcolm X, who was a Black nationalist, Pan-Africanist, son of a Garveyite, son of two Garveyites, creator of the OAAU, which is the Organization of Afro-American Unity, and all-around brilliant brother, great speaker. I mean, we know his story. If you've seen the movie or read the book, that kind of gives you the gist of his life and who he was. Now, for me personally, when I was coming up as a teenager, getting knowledge of self meant you landed in one of two places. You either got involved with the 5% nation of gods and earths, or you embrace Black nationalism. For many of us, the life and the story of Omowale Malcolm X was that entrance point into knowledge of self. And I can recall going above and beyond to find anything I could read about Malcolm X, whether it be articles or books, or I was looking for audio CDs, videos, whatever I could find on Malcolm X. And I would make sure that I got a hold of those things and try to read them and try to learn as much about Malcolm X as I could. We got artist, visual artist, recording artist, another all-around brilliant brother. Sam Sun has joined the program. Peace, Sam. Welcome to the FACT Project. Thank you for getting on with us today.
Peace, brother. I'd like to start off by saying it is truly a pleasure to be welcomed here in what can only be compared to as the Spirit of Public Affairs television program known as Like It Is, which also focused on issues relevant to African American community that aired on WABC, as you know, between 1968 to 2011, as it was hosted by legendary reporter Gil Noble. It's a pleasure to be here on the FACT Project show here on Fullblast Radio. Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, well, thank you for the kind words. I'm glad to have you on because there are a few things that I would like to discuss and get on the table. I want to first give a big shout out to Brother Almighty True Divine Allah, who has joined us in the chat. And for the people that are in the chat, if you have any questions for the guests, by all means, put them in the chat, and I will do my best to get those questions to the guests. We also have joining us activist, a very prolific brother. He's all over the place, doing a lot of great work. The great brother Kwabena Rasuli. Peace, brother Kwabena. Brother, you on mute. I'm not hearing you. Brother Kwabena, you on mute. I can't hear you. Got Brother Kwabena Rasuli behind the wheel. We hope the brother drives safely. I'm going to see if he can get his audio together. But either way, Sam, we passed yesterday the 99th birth anniversary of the great
Yeah.
Malcolm X. So I was sharing a few words about him. What kind of an impact did Malcolm X have on you when you were coming up?
Well, I'd like to first start by saying I was not taught about El Haj Malik El Shabazz by the Amityville School District in which I was raised. You know, his relevance to our history was not a part of their curriculum. But growing up, I had a friend named Archie Henry 3X, who a lot of people around the way know. I see you laughing, so you might
Yeah,
know the brother.
of course, of course.
He every year on the weekends of Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X's born days, he threw a party.
Wow,
He would
interesting.
throw parties in, for both. And our generation was sparked by Malcolm X through artists such as Poor Righteous Teachers, Y YZ, Public Enemy, King Son, X Clan, Lakim Shabazz, etc. Those people of that time. And in November 1992, Spike Lee released X, the movie X, and it was somewhat of a biographical film containing fictional characters and missing some that were factually important, such as Muhammad Ali, Red Fox, people that really did make an impact on him. But nonetheless, it was a good introduction for a lot of the young Black children and those who were not aware of him and aware of his impact. And if anything, it sparked interest for probably so many that didn't know of him, and I believe it was a good thing. The good outweighed some of the negative comments that people had about the film. So that was my I won't say my introduction, but it was a good part of our generation's knowledge of him. But he made an impact on us in so many ways. I had pictures. I used to, as you said, visual artist. I used to draw him all the time. I used to draw Malcolm X all the time, and I had pictures of him all over my room.
Mm.
Even before the movie came out. So just his by any means necessary mentality made an impact on me very early on. Very early on.
Okay. Brother Kwabena, can you hear me now? Oh yeah, brother. Were you still on mute? I'm not hearing you, brother. I don't know what's happening. We got Brother Kwabena Rasuli behind the wheel. He's going to join us to talk about the Netflix boycott, which is still in full swing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm doing something wrong here. Hopefully, we'll get the brother on in a minute. But yeah, I was saying that I remember traveling to Brooklyn, and you had vendors on the street. They would be selling like cassette tapes.
Yeah.
I'd be buying those Malcolm X cassette
Yeah,
tapes.
yeah. I bought to share my share too.
Yeah, and videos and just whatever I can get my hands on. Back then, it was VHS.
Yeah.
So if you can get anything Malcolm X, that was like a treat. And t-shirts.
Yep.
T-shirts and all that sort of stuff. That kind of came a little bit later. But yeah, man, it was just like that. The impact that he had. It was someone that was like relatable that we could relate to.
Yeah.
Because of his lived experiences. So always got to salute the great Omar Wali Malcolm X. Now, we got in full swing, Sam, the boycott against Netflix. First of all, I want to get your take on the new animated Good Times reboot of Good Times, and then we go into talking about the boycott. Did you watch the trailer or any of these episodes?
I saw the trailer, which I actually, it's funny, man. I saw the trailer with my family, like my wife and kids. We sat there and was like, "Oh, there's a reboot of Good Times," and my whole family has watched every episode of Good Times, like down to my youngest child. We've all watched Good Times together, so we've seen the whole series together. And so we were like a little excited, like, "Oh, there's gonna be a reboot. Let's watch it." We put that trailer on and just were in shock, bro. Like, how in the world did that get passed? Like, who allowed that? Like, we just couldn't believe that was even a thing. Like it was so bad. It was, first of all, it in no way is it connected to the show. Like in no way does it reflect the show at all. So it's just like it's a travesty, man.
Mm,
It's a travesty.
mm. Yeah. And so, what were some of the things that you objected to when you watched the trailer?
Oh man, just the ratchetness of it, just the pure ratchetness of it. Just it's mockery.
Right.
Everything
Right.
about it was mockery.
Yeah. Now, if white people that practice the Jewish religion or gay people were depicted in that kind of a negative way
Oh my
in
goodness.
animation, what do you think the
Oh my
response would
goodness. It wouldn't have even made it to we would have never seen the trailer.
be? Right.
Can you brothers hear me now?
Oh yeah, I can
Yes.
hear you now, brother. Yes, yes.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, so
Cool.
we're talking about the Netflix trailer for animated reboot of Good Times, and you've been on he's shaking his head. You've been on a few times with us. You came on last week. We want you to give us an update on what happened Saturday. But we just, for the people that might just be joining us or people that might not know exactly what's happening, we're talking about the trailer. And I know you can speak at length about the trailer. So for the people that may not have seen you on in the past, what can you tell us about the trailer for the animated reboot of Good Times on Netflix?
I mean, Good Times. It was so revered as a show. When we were little, we were young, and had the heartthrob Thelma on there for us. Father, mama, young children battling and struggling with the conditions in Chicago. Just 5 years after the assassination of Fred Hampton and Mark Clark is when the show was depicted, or when it came out in 1974, 50 years ago. And they want to make a cartoon out of it, and they also made a mockery out of it. There's an excellent open letter from Brother James McIntosh of CMOTAP, which is the Committee to Eliminate Media Offensive to African People, that I hope we can read, or you can at least read on the show. I hope you still got the email.
I do have it, yes.
Okay, good. Because did you get the email he sent out today?
You know what? I haven't opened email yet today, so I'm sure I did get it.
Okay, because it chronicles a lot of the updates, and I'm going to open it up in a minute. But it deals with. And so let me go back to where we were. I got off course, but I heard Brother Samson, man, and again, I'm gonna get off course with this, but I appreciate man, this music y'all been putting out, man.
Thank you, brother.
Shoot, Marcus Mosiah Garvey remains in rotation on the weekly wrap up of conscious hip hop show we do out of Gary, Indiana. We've been doing for 25 years now. 25 years now, and so beautiful. Man, that's a powerful cut, man. Y'all did it with that
beautiful.
One. Love
Thank
the beat,
you.
love
Thank
the
you
music,
so much.
of course, the information. And then was he part of Clear Airwaves?
He did two Clear the Airwaves song, yes.
Man, so we did with the Clear the Airwaves project, and we did a United Front Against Murder music lyrics. We did it in Atlanta, and we were kind of inspired by the United Front Against Fascism that the Black Panther Party did back in 1969. And so we got 5 members of the Black Panther Party. I'm talking about OG members to be with us, and other members, OG members of the Black Panther Party, to be with us in Atlanta. And so we were on radio. We were on WRFG, Radio Free Georgia, with our brother Wanique Shabazz doing an interview, and he led off the interview with the song.
Wow.
Clear the airways. Like, what? So right on. So they're my comrades, man. It's like, wow. So I didn't give it to him, so he had it. He had it and led off the show with that.
Wow, nice.
And I said, bro, you got to get this Marcus Garvey cut too. So, but that was cool. But yeah, so y'all, you were just talking about the trailer. And first thing I'm gonna say, the trailer, as last time I checked, had a little over 7,000 thumbs up. So 7,000 people thumbs up the trailer. Wow. 70,000 plus thumbs down.
Wow. Okay.
So the people do not want this. You got a 2-year-old baby slanging drugs, getting shot at by ratchet killer rappers. You got a son who, by the way, there's so many podcasts and different news articles. You even have both Stephen A. Smith and what's this guy name out of Kansas City, Jason Whitlock, both agreeing that it's ignorant and stupid. So if they agreeing on something. I saw one with this white dude on it, and the white dude and the brother's going in on it. First thing the white dude said is he loves the character Junior. He loves the minstrel character who came past the 10th grade. I commented, of course you do. That's why y'all be filling up these rap concerts, these ratchet minstrel kill black people pornographic rap concerts by buying these $300,000 tickets. That y'all love that minstrel stuff. It was the number one entertainment for white folks a century ago. Was the minstrel show. So yeah, y'all love that. Y'all still love it today. That's why it's thriving so much today. But we don't like it, as you can see by those thumbs down. They got this junior who can't pass the 10th grade. They got his teacher suggesting that she want to see his feet. She suggests that he go into OnlyFans, and he's using the size of his feet, comparing that to the size of his tool, so he can maybe be on OnlyFans. She got a flask of alcohol in her pocket and smoking cigarettes in the class. They take him somewhere to try to get him some medication to help out with his issues with his learning. And there's Chief Keef, in Chicago. So you got Chief Keef, I guess the out there father of this drill music, which has Africans dying all around the dang on country and parts of the world following that crap. He's over there mixing up his drugs so he can think better or do his work better. In the meantime, he's getting his drugs ready. He has a shooting it out. Then he comes right back to start mixing the drugs out again. This is the type of disrespect. Roaches singing the theme song for Good Times. Roaches floating around the apartment on empty beer cans. The roaches being depicted as the people's pet. There's a dog the man brings home, a PTSD dog. He calls it because he doesn't understand what PTSD means. So he brings the dog home. The mama says, she's jealous of the dog. Ain't but one bitch in this house. That's what the mama says. And the children, again, the family saying, we got pets already. The roaches are our pets. When Junior gets this medicine or whatever he's getting from Chief Keef, they got it depicted as making him real smart. So he has a bet with his so-called radical sister that whoever does the best on this test or whatever they're doing in school, whoever loses the bet, the loser has to pick out the roaches out of the cereal every morning.
Wow.
This is how they're demeaning and degrading us in this cartoon. The daddy gets shot in the rear end on one of the episodes when they're trying to shoot his wife because she's running for office to run the projects, which, by the way, the high-rise projects, Cabrini Green, don't even exist anymore. They've been gentrified already.
Yep.
But the daddy gets shot in the rectum, in the butt, and so he walks around the whole episode with his ass out in this cartoon. And we can go on and on. Well, there's one more I got to share. There's so many of them. For some reason, he got a whip in this in one episode. And so he takes the whip and just pops his son in the face with it. So Junior's laid out on the floor of the apartment, after his daddy got a whip. And this is Seth MacFarlane. This is, the show where he needs to be checked too. But this is Netflix allowing this crap. That's like when we talk about this music. We were at GCI, which is the No Heart station. I guess the official name is iHeart, but we call them No Heart. They ain't got no heart. We at GCI meeting with them execs, pleading and demanding and everything we could do to get them to stop playing this kill black people music, this hateful, ratchet, pornographic music to our children every day. This was in 2018 or 17 when they were having all these murders. We had almost 11 people shot every day. And they come talking about telling us, go to the labels. What do you mean go to the labels? The labels can give you all the crap they want to give you. If it talks about killing people, if it's dropping M-bombs on us, if it's disrespecting our women, just tell them we don't play it. Tell the label stop sending us that crap because we ain't gonna play it. You're gonna tell us to go to the labels. No, they have the power right there to play it or not to play it. So, and this is, anyway, bro, y'all know what it is, but the people, because the people aren't with it, I mean, so, we're seizing that time, and CMOTAP, that's what they're about anyway, man. CMOTAP out in New York, based in New York. We got brothers and sisters out in the West Coast, also CMOTAP. But, we're coming down on them. We're asking people to sign the petition. There's plenty of them out there. There's one to boycott Netflix. We're asking people to cancel your Netflix subscription, which many people are canceling it. A friend of mine, she did the math. I didn't write it down. I was writing. She said she took the amount that it cost a month, and she took the 70,000 plus people who had a thumbs down on the trailer, and I forgot how much money it said it would cost them just in subscriptions alone. And that's not even dealing with the sponsors who's going to see this. But cancel it, let them know. And I got a phone number. I'm gonna share the phone number. I'm gonna get it in a minute. Where the people are calling on this Friday. This Friday, we're calling Netflix. We're gonna bombard their telephone lines, and we're gonna need all the people to do this. We need the people to share this with everybody. is 70,000 plus times to call Netflix and let them know we're not with this. We're tired of this crap. We're not with it.
Brother Rasuli, pardon me for interrupting. I just want to know, where can we get a hold of that petition to sign that petition?
I'm going to open up the email in a minute, because again, I'm traveling. I'm going to pause for a minute and open it up, and I'm going to get that information, the phone number, because again, there's several petitions on, and they're on what's the regular thing that so many people use right now? They be trying to get money from you. Don't give them no money unless you just want to. They try to make you give them money. Change.org.
Change. Okay.
So, and there's several of them on change.org, and one of them was to call for them not to even air this crap, because people didn't want it since we saw the trailer, like you said, and that was before April 12th. But yet they went on and aired it anyway. And so there was one saying don't even air it that they ignored, and then there's ones that calling for a boycott. But I'm gonna look it up. Give me a moment to look it up.
Okay.
And then I'll share it back with you all.
Okay. So we'll let you work on that. Sam, also there was part of the trailer where they try to drop a jewel, but it's like they're making a mockery at the same time, where the government was bringing guns and dropping guns off in the neighborhood.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that part of the trailer, because the trailer, like when you watch it, things come and go really fast.
Yeah. It's very fast.
Yeah, if you blink, you might miss something, you know? So I don't know if you overlooked that part, but they did put that in the trailer. Do you think they're trying to trivialize that idea? Like, why would they put that in the trailer, you think?
A lot of times the truth, they like to parade the truth right in front of us, just like science fiction, which is often science fact. They put the truth in front of you to downplay it, so that, okay, you're aware of it, but you're not conscious of it. There's a difference, you know. A lot of times they'll parade some truth in front of our eyes, and I feel like that's what they're probably doing. They're probably doing with that, like they do in so many different ways. You know, they give you a hint of the truth, but they make it like it's a joke.
Exactly. So now when somebody comes along and says, hey, there's some truth to that, like the great Fred Hampton Jr. out there in the city of Chicago, the streets of his office, he speaks at length about the drop guns that they just come and drop off in the Black community. It happens in Chicago. It happens out there on the West Coast in California, or it might be a freight train parked on the track in the Black neighborhood. And, there's just boxes of guns in the freight train. And, when people, hanging out at night or whatever, they come across this, if it's unattended and the train is not locked, they're taking those guns. And so the theory says that that's how a lot of the guns end up in our communities, because I think it's interesting to note that there are no Black gun manufacturers in America. There are no Black corporations making ammunition for the guns. But the guns always seem to end up in our neighborhoods. And so the question becomes, how do the gun manufacturers crank out a product that is just basically out of control everywhere in the street? And they're not being held accountable. Like if somebody stole a fleet of Lexuses from the auto dealer, I'm sure they'd be able to track those cars down and reel them in, So how do you create a product that is causing as much damage as the guns are, but you can't seem to control it, and they still cranking out more guns? I think that's a major issue. Now the boycott of Netflix, I try to gauge it in some kind of way. Throughout the week, I've been checking the stock price of Netflix, and the stock price is actually down. Now, I don't know if that means the boycott is having an impact. Because a large majority of the stocks that people pay attention to, the whole market is kind of taking a downturn right now. So I'm not saying the boycott is not having an effect, but it possibly could. It's hard to gauge it now, only because the stock market is basically taking a downturn. Now, I said this last week. I would like to get your opinion. Netflix put Blockbuster out of business. Do you think Black people can boycott until they put Netflix out of business?
As you know, it's simple to say. The power is in the people. We always say power to the people, but the power is in the people. The power is the people. We conduct so much more than we realize. if we just realize that the power that we have and become empowered by the power that we have, we can do anything that we put our mind to. It sounds cliche, but I mean, bro, like putting a company like that out of business, they would not have business if we didn't allow them to service us. So if you stop patronizing them, what do you think's going to happen? They only exist because we allow them to. So
Yeah.
my answer is yes.
Okay, I think we don't understand our power.
Yep.
And if you study the history of America, all of the most major advances that we made came about by what I call the 4 Ps: people, power, and public pressure. So the end of enslavement came about by way of the 4 Ps.
Yep.
The end of Jim Crow segregation came about by way of the 4 Ps. The Voting Rights Act and all these things that we talk about now came about through public pressure and people power. And I say all the time, the strength in numbers. We're stronger together than we will ever be separate. And we have that people power, but we don't understand people power because we're not organized. And organized people can do anything.
Yep.
And working together works. So I would like to see the boycott of Netflix continue until they file for bankruptcy, and continue even then until they completely go out of business. And I know that that's possible. It's just we got to try to get people on the same page. So the question becomes, how do you get the multitude of people who are, they kind of they're more into comfort than they're into freedom? How do you get them on the same page so that they too can cancel their Netflix and write the letters and make the phone calls and become more active? How do you spark the sleeping people?
We're so caught up on fear of loss. That's why so many things exist and succeed, because we're caught up on, okay, if it's not there, what else are we going to have? Rather than saying, if it's not there, now it's time for me to create it. If Netflix isn't there, you create another source for those things that you're missing. You create another source for documentaries and television, and we have our own companies. Empower them. Stop going to them for your needs, wants, and create, and go to those that are already out there that we're not going to, that look like us. It's that simple. We do it with clothes. We do it with food. We do it with every, it goes back to how many black banks do we have? How many clothing companies, successful clothing companies do we have? How many grocery stores do we have? It goes back to those things. Like,
So
Garveyism, man. Garveyism.
Exactly. So now here's the thing. I think it's interesting how there's people that don't look like us and they have what's called the dark web. If we have IT people among us, why can't we have the black web?
Yep.
So that we can have our own streaming and our own, internet radio and whatever other entertainment we need, we can create that. So how do you get people to overcome the fear that paralyzes us? It's fear of being uncomfortable or fear of not having whatever people are used to having. How do you convince them to overcome that fear and get involved in the activism?
Goes hand in hand with not seeing. A lot of times people fear what they don't see, what they don't understand. And if people aren't seeing it, they don't think it exists. We only know Forbes, and we know Microsoft, and we know these companies because we see them all the time. That doesn't mean there's none of us out there. That doesn't mean there's no one even surpassing them that's out there. But you have to do your research. And that's the thing, man. We don't like to read. And when I say we, I mean us as a people. We've got to get better at reading. We got to get better at research. We got to get better at investigating ourselves and seeing how we can pull each other up by the chin strap and get to where we want to go. And not saying that there's those of us that are already there, but to discover each other and say, you know what, I'm gonna support that.
Now,
You
there are a
know,
lot
as
of
a
us.
music artist myself, just getting support sometimes, it's funny, man. I hate to say it, but quite often, we're talking about, you know, the brother was talking about the F.A.C.T project, the album that we released, and you'll be surprised how many people who don't look like us are supporting more than us. Why is that? I don't get that.
Yeah, that's interesting. I can recall going to see Talib Kweli for the first time at SOBs. This is before his first album even came out. And yeah, I thought it was rock and roll night when I went in there, because it was a lot. It's a lot of 1/10, and it wasn't a lot of people that looked like us, but they were there to see Kweli. I'm looking around my shoulders like, did I come on the wrong night?
Yeah, man.
No, I came on the right night. It feels like you know, sometimes people that don't look like us, the 1/10, they appreciate our more refined art better than we do. Now, the idea is that a lot of people are in what some people will call the 85%, and I feel like they don't have faith in us as a group. But I know, well, I can't say I know, but in my determination, I feel like if we build it, they will come. If we build the, you know, our own streaming platforms and we had our own everything,
yes, sir,
then the people that are not on board might want to get on board because they see it as successful. You share that same opinion?
I definitely agree. It's all human beings, as a whole, often have a bandwagon mentality, a following mentality, unfortunately. And if they can perceive something as succeeding or successful, they jump on that. So a lot of it's all perception, unfortunately. And, you know, the monopoly right now is Disney, which don't really get me started on Disney, but the monopoly right now in film and broadcasting, every perspective right now, they are monopolizing Disney.
Yeah.
And so everybody jumps on Disney. But if we could create some different formats and films and different media that they aren't, I'm trying to think of the word that I'm looking, because when I think of Disney, I think of like, it's almost like a parasite.
Yeah.
That's just, you know, because honestly, it's a little unsettling if you really look at it in a business sense on what Disney is doing and what they're being allowed to do. You know, Bob Iger is like the Caesar, the modern day Caesar right now of media.
Okay.
You know,
and who was that? For the people that don't know, who was that?
That's the president of Disney.
Okay.
And they are just taking over, bro. And that needs to be stopped.
So you're saying Disney is monopolizing the broadcast media industry?
It's monopolizing, and the undercurrent that they're putting in everything, the subliminal messages and the subliminal signs that they're putting in there, you know, it's dangerous, man.
Yeah, for real.
Dangerous part. It's marketed for our children, and the fact that, you know, our children are getting this so early on, what they're doing needs to be stopped.
Yeah, they're coming after the children. We got Brother Kwabena with us again. Brother Kwabena, can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you all very well. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you. We were talking about the Netflix trailer and the idea that they said that the government is bringing guns into the Black community. And what do you make of that? Like, why do you think they put that in the trailer? You think they did that to make a mockery of that idea, to trivialize it, or you think they did that to put some consciousness in the series?
They're trying to sneak in a little bit of consciousness there. I think even the showrunner was saying, "Wait and see, and we'll do whatever." Because even at the end of it, so I haven't watched it. There was one young sister that said, "Don't hate watch it," and I had never heard that term, but I understand what she meant, because it still gives Netflix love for putting it out there. She said, "Don't hate watch it," and she gave a couple alternative sites where you can watch it without that. But I've been seeing part of it watching so many reviews of it. They've been talking about it, and they said the last episode of this series, I believe they're getting gentrified. So it shows them even getting gentrified out of there. They're, the projects are a mess, and so again, the mama has taken over the person who runs like the bookman character. But she's elected to that position, and even the daughter falls for it, where they're, fixing up the project so the black folks move out while they do the remodeling, and then they come back, and looks like they're gonna change them change them out, just like they did Cabrini Green. So that's in there too. But later for that, what everything else they're doing is demeaning and degrading us. And Brother McIntosh points out that this is not satire. It is open letter to them. This is not this is ridiculing us. Mm-hmm. This is making a mockery out of us. So yeah, I got the petition, but the petition is the one it's on change.org, and it's demand Netflix cancel the animated reboot Good Times. Demand Netflix cancel it.
Okay. So change.org, we're gonna send people to that, and when they get to change.org, what do they put in the search? Just put Netflix. How do they find that on change.org?
I know this is a long title, but demand Netflix cancel animated reboot of Good Times.
Okay.
Even if you put animated reboot of Good Times, it should come up.
Okay. I'm gonna try to put that in the chat before we get off, so we can direct people to that. But I know brother Chairman Fred Hampton Jr. out there in Chicago talks a lot about these drop guns and how they drop the guns off us to hold these guns. I was saying that there are no black-owned gun manufacturing corporations in the country, and we don't manufacture any bullets. So you think that what Fred Hampton Jr. is saying out in Chicago is real about the guns, the drop guns?
Oh yeah, I've heard it there before. I grew up in LA. We used to hear about that in LA in the 80s. When we were having that fratricidal epidemic in LA, still too much of it now. Back in the 80s, they were doing that. Dead Prez brings it up, in that song, even dealing with the drugs and Like a Window. Yeah. And this song, Like a Window.
Yeah, in fact, speaking of Dead Prez, they did a song where they mentioned Geronimo Pratt. I don't know if you're familiar with that one. I have to send it to you. If you're not, I will have to send you that. But either way, did you get that phone? It was on a Dead Prez mixtape. It was a song about police, and they had mentioned Geronimo Pratt. I don't want to say what the song is about now because it's a whole nother level. They were expressing themselves in the way that Dead Prez would express themselves. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna send you that. If you never heard that, I'm gonna definitely have to send you that. So change.org, there's a campaign on there. And you say you were trying to get a hold of a phone number so that we can share that. Did you
I was able to get the phone number, but I saw the email. The email's there. I believe you have it too, but for some reason I was not able to see the phone number on there.
Okay. We'll see if we can get a hold of that.
But that phone number is very important because that's what's happening on Friday.
Okay. Now, Brother Kwabena, what happened on Saturday with the CMOTAP event Saturday? Can you bring us up to date on what was talked about on Saturday? I think Brother Kwabena might have dropped off again. I know he's traveling. So Sam CMOTAP did another Zoom. Oh, here he is. Brother Kwabena, can you update us about what happened on CMOTAP Zoom this past Saturday?
Well, that was it. The people were giving updates on what they did during the past week, was to share that open letter, and also, pretty much that, and to share how they shared our direct action and our action against them with your colleagues, with your organizations, and what have you. Also giving updates on what they did concerning the petition, signing the petition, sharing the petition. And then we talked about the next steps. Next steps, one of them was, again, that phone call barrage on them coming up on this coming Friday. And then we're not meeting this Saturday, but the next Saturday, which I believe is June the 1st, we'll be meeting, followed by a visit to the headquarters of Netflix. They have a headquarters in New York. They have one in Los Angeles, and their main headquarters is in the Bay Area, well, Silicon Valley area, near San Jose.
And the New York location is 888 Broadway. Is that the address you're going to?
That's the address. Yes.
Okay. And so on Saturday, did people say that they're canceling the Netflix and everyone's following through with it? What were people reporting Saturday?
People gave shared examples of people who have canceled their Netflix. Even some people were on the call talked about how they canceled their Netflix. Yes. Okay. I had an interview on my radio show on Friday, the one called the Weekly Wrap Up, where my guest, we were talking about this brother Brandon Williams, who helped architect how our station is, who had just made transition. And we were talking about that, and he shared with me at that point, yeah, he had canceled this Netflix right away after he saw that crap, when we made the call to cancel.
Okay. And so the open letter that Simotap wrote, are people being encouraged to copy paste that letter and send it, or send their own letter in their own words? What can you tell us about the letter writing campaign?
Yes, people are encouraged. Simotap says you can share the letter. Please share the letter that they wrote. I think it's very thorough. It has 7 points. I think we read it last week. 7 points that they're sharing with the co-CEO or co-president of Netflix. And, his wife is the sister, the music power broker, the brother, who's passed a couple of years ago. And I think even his wife got shot and killed. So there's their daughter that this guy, Ted Sarandos, is married to, which is interesting in itself. Please share that letter. We need people to share that letter, share it to the local newspapers, to the press. That letter needs to be out there. People need to read that letter. It's a very thorough letter put together by Simotap. Okay. That chronicles how horrible this is and how it's not satire. Brother McIntosh says satire. You do that to the powerful. You satirize the powerful, not the people who are struggling.
Yeah, I get it. So now the phone call on Friday, when people call, what are they encouraged to say on the phone call Friday?
They're encouraged to either read the open letter, read the entire open letter if you get someone. Let them know that you're canceling Netflix, if you are encouraging all your friends, your people to cancel Netflix because of the content of this animated minstrel show, Good Times Reboot. We are offended. It is damaging, it is dangerous, and to take it off. And encourage them to take it off and to cancel it right now. Take it off the air right now. Because when they come out with all the episodes. You're going to binge watch them right away. Pretty much.
Now, Brother Quabbin, during the week, I was trying to keep you updated on the stock price of Netflix. And the stock price is going down. Do you think that the boycott and the pushback against Good Times is having an impact on the stock price of Netflix?
I think it could be having an impact on it. Advertisers I've been seeing that letter. People have been seeing that letter, and people have been seeing the show. Be like, man, this is garbage. So hopefully it is having an impact on it. They have a lot more of an impact on it. A lot of times they do that stuff and they don't tell you that you have an impact on it because they don't want us to know the power that we have as an organized community. That the power that we do have, that power. We just have to organize and exercise.
Now, what about the people that participated in it? Now, you mentioned Cree Summer and a few other comedians. Have they come out publicly and made any statement at all?
I haven't heard. Only thing I heard was from Seth Curry. I call him Seth Curry. That's his brother's name, and that's the first name of that imbecile, that rich imbecile who's another co-producer of that Steph Curry. But Steph Curry commented. Hold on, if I can find the call. Sorry.
And what did he say?
He pretty much said he gave it up for Good Times, the original, called it the pinnacle of black sitcoms. Then went on to say, and talked about how it was an adult look at it. Then went on to say, when asked about his children, watching it with his children, he said he won't be watching it with his kids. That's pretty much it. Get our kids, but I won't be watching it with our children. But I won't be watching it with mine.
Now, Sam, do you think some of the people that did voiceover comedians and actors, should they be held to account for participation in this?
There was a part of me that said no, but then because I heard the sister who played what's her name? The daughter, what was her name in the show?
Brother Quabbin knows the revolutionary one.
Yeah, I
No,
can't think of her name either. But one of the people I watch, he said he can't stand that character. But yeah, I can't think of her name. I don't know who you're talking about though.
I heard them say that she didn't know the show. But my thing is like some of the the dialogue connects. So how did you know, after a while you're recording and you're like, wait, what am I saying here? So I look at it like, no, you couldn't have been that out of the loop in the studio recording, not knowing what was being put together. So I have to say, like, yeah, you have to hold these people accountable.
Okay.
You have to hold these people accountable for what they, you know, this is buffoonery, man.
Of course. Now,
You
brother,
had to realize that this is what's coming out of your mouth is buffoonery.
right, brother Kwabena, is it possible for an actor to do voiceover on animation and not know the script? Is that possible?
I guess it's possible because Bernadette Status said the same thing. She didn't realize that
Yeah,
she
that's
saw the trailer how
what I heard.
ratchet it was, and she dogged it out. Now, when it comes, like you said, I mean, they got the daughter. I mean, Bernadette had, I think, a couple like cameos, but had her Jimmy Walker. Jimmy Walker, I don't know if you or not, but you know, they all trashed on that No Good Breakfast Club was up there. They all trashed. I call them no good because Breakfast Club plays the same type sort of music that the show depicts, you know, all the time. So they don't really have the full authority to deal with this, but it's still good to see them on there trashing. But I agree with you in terms of the daughter. I mean, they have her playing a role where she has her first cycle in school, and you know she's doing her schoolwork. The ink is the blood from her cycle. You know, some of her dialogue, and that she had to know, you know, that the stuff was like that. But one of the things that we talk about Simulchat is that we are, you know, well, I still think, just like with the rappers, I still think they need to be held accountable and addressed with this. You know, because some of them say we need to make money, and when we hear that when we be struggling with these rappers, he said, you know, we want to make money, it's profitable. But slavery was profitable. It ain't all just about profits. But you know, if we're gonna let you off the hook from degrading us and yourself, you know, what are we gonna? We're gonna let the rappers off the hook too? But we know who the puppeteers are. You know, keep punching these puppets. I mean, they'll just make another puppet, or you know, just like they do with rap, or they'll just kill you off, or if you go to prison, or if you say you're gonna go conscious, you know, the system as it is right now, they just won't play. So while they do need to be held in check, especially I think Steph Curry. I know we struggle with him, but the main ones are the Steph McFarland's, Norman Lear's, even in this current state, and of course Netflix. Netflix is the ultimate. You know, them and Sony Pictures and all that. You know, a cartoon. Our children watch cartoons, like you were saying earlier.
Now, can management or, you know, artist management or agent, can they steer artists and comedians and actors in a certain direction to do certain things because the management and the agents and so forth don't get paid unless the actor or the voiceover artist gets paid? So this is a question for both of you. Do you think the management and the people that are handling the actors, you think they steer them in that direction just to get paid regardless of the content?
I would say yes. I would say yes, because it's all about money nowadays. Ethics go out the window. So I would say yes.
So you think the management and the agents, they just pushing them to do things just so that they can get paid? The management and agents. Okay. Okay. Brother Kwabena, same question. You think the management and the agents are pushing these people to do this stuff so that everybody gets paid because it's an industry?
I would say yes. Again, capitalist society. I would hope that there's some managers out there, people out there, or maybe even the actors or the artists may say, "I want to do this," and the manager should say, "Well, I don't think that's good for your career. I don't think that's good for our people. No, don't do this." And I think that probably happens sometime, but most of the time it's probably the opposite. I mean, I have family that are in this industry. I actually got family that does very successful in animation, but you know, and it's tough. I remember asking. I took my niece. I brought my niece to the audition for Boondocks when it came out. We were in LA. I took her there. Sister couldn't do it, so I brought her there. Sat with her while she did her interview, came out, left. And after watching the finished product, I was so glad she didn't get Boondocks. A lot of people are comparing this to Boondocks, how they like Boondocks. And I love the episode of Boondocks with Dr. King, and they were dealing with the N-bomb. I thought that was a great episode. Dr. King went in on using that word, and then the rest of the dang on show, they were dropping N-bombs like they lost their damn mind. So, you know, but I'm so glad she didn't get that. She didn't get that role. You know, she can hear me right now. What? Yeah.
Now, we know in the entertainment industry, a lot of the management companies and a lot of the agencies are owned by 1/10, by people that don't look like us. Do you think that they pushing certain people to do certain things because they don't understand the culture and they don't understand what's offensive to us? That's for both of you.
Yeah. I would say yes.
Okay.
I would say yes. I would say that's a definite. It's easy to play on people who don't have knowledge of themselves and knowledge of what's taking place. So there's definitely people who prey on lack of knowledge. So I would definitely say yes. That's an ongoing thing.
Okay. Brother Kwabena, same question. The management companies and the agencies are owned by people that don't look like us. Do you think they don't understand what's offensive to us?
I think to a certain extent they don't, but to nothing. I think that goes both ways. I think they do. They just don't. I think they don't care. Like you all were saying earlier, it's about money to them, and they know that, you know, even though the stuff is offensive, because I got to equate this to the music. They have to know it has to be offensive to us to have. One of the things one of the critics talked about with this show, that everybody's twerking. All the time you show a girl, they got their rear end like BBL, and they're twerking. And they have to know that that's offensive to us. They have to know that having a 12-year-old girl depicted up here twerking on stage, it has to be offensive to us. I think they just don't care. Seth MacFarlane knows that the stuff he's doing has to be offensive. I think that's that shock value that they're trying to, you know, use to make the money. So I think part of it is that they just don't care.
I would like to interject. They don't care, but they're only doing what they see us doing ourselves as a whole. We're allowing ourselves to be used quite often. Unfortunately, we have people like what's this girl, Spice or whatever, this Ice Spice, just you know, allowing themselves to be used and manipulated for just buffoonery. And it comes across like it's okay, like we're condoning it, like we're co-signing it, because so many of us are. When do we take accountability and say, all right, this needs to stop? Like these such artists that come out like this, when do we say that, no, we're not gonna patronize that, we're not gonna, no, this is not acceptable? Daughter, son, sit down and stop. When are we going? When do we get to that point?
Good question. That's an excellent question. I think it's interesting that the white-owned distributors and the white-owned music corporations are telling us that this is the music that we want. Mm-hmm. Now, all three of us, we came along in a different time period. We saw Public Enemy go gold and go platinum in a week.
Yes,
we
sir.
saw that every album A Tribe Called Quest did sold at least 1 million copies.
Yes, sir.
The Fugees broke the record for rap, selling the most rap albums in the history of recorded rap music. After them, Lauryn Hill came behind them and broke that record. Yep. So the idea that this is all we want, I think, is completely false. So now, Brother Kwabena, how do you respond to that when the music industry is telling us that we want this ratchet music?
We hear it all the time. We go to, like I said, we go to radio stations and everywhere. That's what y'all want. No, it's not what we want. It's what y'all force feeding us. It's what y'all playing all the time. I know you brothers can go. I can't in terms of rap. But if I had a song and they played it in hot rotation 15, 20 times a day on 2 or 3 different radio stations and targeting our people, the people start liking it. They're saturating our minds with this madness. So no, it's you know, you're exactly right. Exactly right. It's just what they're force feeding us. They try to tell you this is what you want. And we do a survey, and I've heard we talked about it before. It's the Sad State of Black Music Survey. You can look it up online. Just type in Sad State of Black Music Survey, and it'll show. We've been doing these surveys from New York to San Diego, Portland to Tampa, and everywhere in between. Even we did it when we were in Ghana the last time. And we asked the question, the percentage of music you and your peers listen to that drop the N-bomb, that call out women, folk, bees, and agents, that brags about and encourages us to shoot and kill each other. And the numbers are always very high, 80, 90% range. And when we talk to our people about this, we ask them, what, don't you think there's something wrong with that? And they agree. And a lot of them say, I don't listen to it, I'm tired of it. It's ridiculous. So a lot of people don't want this. They don't. I did a presentation at Southern University on our Clear Airways project a couple of years ago, and I brought stacks of CDs, jazz, conscious hip hop, mellow stuff, slow jams, and funk. When I looked up, and I put them out there after the presentation for the people to get. When I looked up, first thing that was gone was slow jams. People got the slow jams first, and these were college students. So they're tired of the madness too. They just try to make us think that that's all we want. No, I agree. Get out of line.
Okay, now on the line of the music, we can connect the dots here. And I'm putting you on the spot right now, Sam. Would you be willing to do a song about the Netflix campaign?
It's pretty funny, man. When we started this episode, it's already in motion in my mind, bro.
Got it. Now, Brother Carbonell, would you
know what track I'm using?
Okay. Brother Carbonell, would you appreciate Sam doing a song about the Netflix campaign?
I would love it. Love it. And from what I heard so far from my brothers, man, yes, come on, let's hear it. Let's get it.
Yeah, okay. It's on the way.
Okay, so Sam, we're giving you homework now as part of this campaign against Netflix.
It's on the way.
Nice. Okay. So
Sam, check out that. Make sure you read that open letter too, man.
Definitely will.
I'm gonna send that to you, Sam. I'm gonna send it to you so you have it, and then you can share it also.
I just wanted to say, in regards to the original cast of Good Times, it's so disrespectful to them. It's just so disrespectful to, you look at where they come from. Esther Roll, man. Ralph Carter. And you hear you hear Ralph Carter in interviews, his intellect, and just the way he speaks on what the show meant and what he was trying to convey in his character Michael. A sister like Janet Du Bois, who wrote the theme song for the Jeffersons, and who played Willona Woods, and she actually lived in my hometown in Amityville.
Yes, she did.
And she worked with my grandmother at Brunswick Hospital. And I was born there in 1974. And my mom remembers her well. The hospital is no longer there. But Mr. Boys operated the Janet Du Bois Academy of Theater Arts and Sciences, a performing arts school for teenagers on Long Island,
wow,
New York. She opened that during the 80s. And in 1992, Du Bois and Danny Glover co-founded the Pan-African Film and Arts Festival in Los Angeles. These are things people don't often talk about when they talk about that show, and they talk about the people who were part of that show. In 2000, Du Bois served as the Grand Marshal for the North Amityville Community Parade and Festival Day in Amityville. She was a great cornerstone to Black theater and Black acting. And to do this to people who meant so much to our growing up and our, it's just disrespectful, man. It's disrespectful. And they can't be allowed to continue. They can't be allowed to continue.
Okay, so brothers, in the last...
you got to get on our... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish.
I mean, I hope you join us on our next meeting, man, with Single Tap also, brother. That's so very important. I mean, so RC5 on the Black hand side, so man, yeah, man. And I got a good buddy that lives out there, man, in the Wyandotte, not too far from me, so right on.
Okay, wow. So you out here in the neighborhood. Okay.
Definitely.
All right, so Brother Kwabena, real quick in the last 30 seconds, what's the next step in the campaign and what is it calling for us to do?
This Friday call, the way hopefully we put it out there, we can add the number. I apologize for not having that number, but we gotta bombard them with phone calls again, cancel your Netflix subscription, understand the role of media and what they do and how they influence us, especially our children. And I mean, I just think about this is a whole other subject too. I just think about the trouble that Pete Diddy got in. We saw the video with him assaulting the sister. But then again, the Grammys makes Dr. Dre names a Global Impact Award after him. And look what he did to D Barnes. I'm sorry for going off of that, but I had to share that too.
Yeah,
Just
man.
was thinking about that. That's what they're promoting.
That's relevant. That's definitely relevant. So Sam, any parting words before we get off?
I just want to thank you for having me. And it's a pleasure, brother. It's a pleasure, brother, to be on here with you. And let's continue. Let's not let this die.
Yeah.
Let's not let this this effort, just fall to the wayside. This is very important.
Okay.
And if we have to realize that if we let them do this, then they do that. Whatever that next step is that they have in motion. Because they're always watching, man. They're always watching. They ease something in and they say, okay, what are they going to do? Are they going to let it ride, or are they going to try to put a stop to it? Because if we don't put a stop to it, they're going to take it up another notch higher.
That's right. That's right.
So let's put a stop to it. Let's put a stop to it.
So you're saying this sets a bad precedent if we let this slide?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So Brother Kwabena, anything you want to say before we get off today?
Man, I appreciate you brothers too, man. Pleasure to meet with y'all, man. Brother Sam, pleasure to meet you. But somebody asked me this question during one of the presentations. They said, Kwabena, you think it can get any worse? That was a great question. I said, yeah, it can get worse. And it will get worse, like I said, if we don't put a stop to this. We got to exercise our power. The people do not want this, and we got to utilize that. And like Bob Law would say, therefore, what are we going to do about it? And CMOTAP is making that happen.
I'm going to close with a quote from the great Martin Luther King. He said, the ultimate end goal of racism is genocide. So can it get worse? Yes. I'm gonna leave on that note. I want to thank both you brothers for coming on today. And we definitely got to do this again, man. There's a little round table right here. We definitely got to bring it back on again.
This is great.
So that we can continue the conversation. So Brother Kwabena, I'm going to reach out to you maybe in 2 weeks. We'll have you come back and tell us what happened at the CMOTAP event. And Sam, if you want to get on that day, you're free to join us and chime in as well.
Sounds good.
All right, brothers. Thanks again. Peace and power. Stay safe and stay Pan-African.
Right on.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.